I'm looking online and in one of many groups that I look at on Facebook that have to do with autism, I ran across a whole bunch of questions like uh, like how does autism play a role in your family, classroom, and everyday life? Well, autism to me is just another way of being, and frankly, it does affect me in many ways. Um, some days are good, some days are bad. I have both ADHD and autistic disorder, and as you can see, I am quite functioning in many ways. I live on my own, I drive, I do things that most people say that I shouldn't be able to, but do. Um, Fact is, it all depends on the person and how they wish to lead their lives. I, for one, don't let my issues confound what I know I can do, and I just go ahead and do it. Why make things even more complicated than they should be? Um, I try and teach people about what I have just in the way of how I am and act. I try and let them know that with any cognitive disorder, there is always going to be behavioral issues. It doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult. Um, I know I can make my life, or my husband's life, quite difficult, but it keeps him on his toes, and he's quite happy with how things are in our marriage. He's my biggest support, and not only my best friend, but he's also my advocate. Um, and I'd be lost without him. Um, there are days when it's bad where my anxiety levels are like really high, and that's usually after I go into a mall or have to speak to government people about disability. And frankly, um, yeah, uh, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I can turn on a dime from being relaxed and being able to function to high anxiety and not being able to think. There are days where my brain just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do or what I want it to do, and those are the days where I wish I could just stay home because it seems that nothing I do seems to come out right. And yeah, it can be sometimes difficult in a lot of ways. There's other times where I have a hard time getting my words out, and I know that they're there in my mind, but sometimes the right words just kind of come out wrong. A lot of people sometimes may take me as rude when I don't mean to be. Um, Fact is that diplomacy for me, yeah, almost non-existent. Um, I couldn't be diplomatic and beat around a bush just to save my life. I'm the kind of girl that is very straightforward, and yeah, sometimes my words can hurt because I don't quite know how to say them. And quite often, because I have a naturally loud voice and the way I am can be perceived as being mad or angry when I'm not. And that's another side to my autistic disorder. Just to be clear, I also have ADHD and high anxiety to social situations in some cases, mostly to do with malls or government offices that are crowded, anything that has a lot of noise and or echo. Um, my greatest problem when it comes to that is the fact that I can almost sense just about every feeling that a person may have in one of those places. And when you have so many emotions coming right at you, it is almost confusing and you can't concentrate, and all you want to do is the old flight or flight maneuver, as in get the hell out of my way and let me run out the first exit. The next question is, in my experience, what are there products or types of products that resonate with a child on the autism spectrum? What about the product sparks interest or engagement? Well, for me, being that I don't have kids, but I am on the spectrum as an adult, I find that certain things like anything that clicks or pops or just allows me to fiddle with things, allows me to relax somewhat, especially in strenuous situations where, being that I have hyperactivity issues, sometimes just being able to play with something allows me to relax and concentrate in things a lot better. What tips could I give ambassadors who are speaking to parents of a child on the spectrum? Well, hate to say this, but you educated idiots have to realize that what you say, do, and how you put things together may confuse some of us. And I'm not one to be easily confused. However, your words, your actions can hurt so many. You cut services and or change things for us? That's just a recipe for freaking trouble. Ask a person who has autism to tell you what they want to see. Don't assume that whatever you bring on board is going to make all of us happy, because it's not, because it affects everyone differently. Ask us in person, not in some stupid poll. I would rather far sooner be a part of a study in person so that I can educate you fucking morons, excuse my language, about autism. I'm sick and tired of you educated idiots thinking that whatever you say and do is to benefit whoever and everyone, when it doesn't. Today there is nothing for people my age, and I'd like to see that change. Anyway, sorry parents for the F-bomb, but it infuriates me when educated morons think that they have all the answers when they don't. It takes an autistic to show an autistic how to be. Not some educated freaking moron thinking that they have the answers to everything. Thanks for asking.